All right, welcome to the Good Rookies podcast. My name is Fahim.
And my name is Nelly J, y'all, and we are Good Rookies.
That's right.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into our episode 50 last week. But guess what? It's episode 51.
51.
We're in the 50s. We're in the 50s. So, guys, we are so excited. We have a phenomenal guest, okay? This man right here is going to drop so much knowledge and insight on the topic we have for tonight. So, Fahim, please introduce who we got.
All right, so let's do this. Definitely the vibes is going to be happening right now because we have someone who's a 20-year writer from the Miami Herald. A lot of experience. We're definitely going to double down on what he has to bring to the table in regards to the For the Culture segment. But let's welcome Fabian Lyon to the podcast today.
Fabian. What's going on, Fabian? How are you?
Thank you so much. Real excited to be here for him and Nelly J. Just to let you know, I'm always tuning in, checking you guys out. Love your show. Love the energy. Love the topics. Nice. Love the convo. I love the laughs, man. So it's a real honor to be on here tonight.
Awesome. No, we're happy to have you on here. We're going to obviously go over all the great things you do and for the culture. But before we get to for the culture, Fabian, you're a man from JA, right? You have Jamaican roots. Right. So I just want to know, how does it feel for you when you're watching track and field and Jamaica is a small island, and they're dominating and not just sprinting, but in multiple areas of track. How does that make you feel, Fabian?
Well, I'll tell you, I think we're spoiled, number one. And obviously that line can be drawn directly to one Usain Bolt, pretty much the GOAT of track and field. Yeah. And he has set the bar so high, Nelly J and Fahim, that I don't know if we can ever be satisfied again. You know, it seems like every male sprinter especially will be compared to him. So it's kind of hard to enjoy sometimes, to be honest, because we know what Usain has set as far as a standard, and right now anybody that follows behind them, it's kind of unfair. So I guess I'm enjoying it a little bit, but that his shadow is, even if he's not competing in this Olympics, I still feel Usain's shadow all over the track and field.
So I agree with you in regards to what you're saying about the shadow and his influence, because just very recently he was mentioning that he's disappointed in how the Jamaican male sprinters have performed in the 100-meter. I guess it's the first time in 21 years that the 100-meter has not had a Jamaican in it. It's a long time. I don't want to even misquote him. So let me just tell you exactly what he said. He felt, I felt like we had a good crop of athletes for the last couple Olympics. So for me, it really bothers me to know that they're not where we should be right now. And the rest of the world is ahead of us. He said, I'm disappointed because I think we do have the talent. Just to harvest it and have people training seriously and getting it done. So that's from Usain Bolt. And so that definitely speaks to, handing the baton onto the next generation. So I understand what you're saying there, Fabian.
Yeah, and you'd always hope that there'd be somebody waiting in the wings. Obviously a younger sprinter, but that has not materialized since Bolt's famous last appearance in the Olympics. And it is disappointing not even to have a representative in the finals for pretty much a staple event for Jamaica. So it is disappointing.
Well, Jamaica did have two men, right, in the finals, in the sprint finals. They had two men, USA had two, and I think Canada had, I think the UK had two. So Jamaica has sprinters, just that they didn't medal,
they didn't finish top three,
top three, right?
So yeah, top three, which is fair. But I think USA and Jamaica have had very poor track performances. To be honest, I think both countries have flopped compared to previous years. For example, I don't think Jamaica sprinting has dropped. I think the women have picked up the slack for the men. So I'm not sure why you're saying all that. I'm like, they swept the medals, 1, 2, 3. So I think it's overreacting, to be honest.
Well, I think he was actually referring to just the men's side.
I know, but why do that when the women are killing it? I get what he said it, but I'm saying no other country has had 1, 2, 3 in any sprinting.
Right.
So
Right.
again, my thing is that yes, the men didn't do well, but the woman is picking it up for y'all. Like it's the same team to me. It's the same flag, right? So
Right.
I think he's capping, to be honest. And honestly, no offense, but I didn't think Jamaica was going to medal for the men sprinting anyway. Because if you follow track, there wasn't really any male dominant sprinter like, you know, like Blake or, you know, like when Bolt was sprinting, there were like 3 or 4 great Jamaican sprinters at the same time. Like Johan Blake, I think could have won gold if Bolt wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
Jamaica was blessed with multiple gifted sprinters all at the same time. And right now they have one not as good Olympics. Like boo hoo hoo, you like whatever. Like the woman won 3 rings, won 3 medals. Like you'll be all right. Bolt, you'll be all right.
Yeah, but I do think though that there's a certain camaraderie. Although they're under one flag, I do think it must sting him that all those guys that he trained with for the past couple of years, that no single guy has stepped forward to, as I say, even medal. It is disappointing. The women finally, I'm kind of glad that they're finally getting their just due or their shine, so to speak. They've been overshadowed by Usain for the past 8 years prior. So I'm kind of glad that Elaine and Shelly-Ann are getting their shine now, so to speak.
Yeah.
So let me ask this then. So could you just mention Shelly-Ann? How do you feel Sha'Carri Richardson not being there has affected, you know how in sports sometimes they say, oh, well, you know what, people look for excuses through asterisks to say, oh, well, you know what, to like not validate the win. I'm just wondering, with Sha'Carri Richardson being not only a big name, but also a favorite, how do you think that would have affected?
She was not a favorite.
She was, hold on.
She wasn't a favorite. She was promising for the American side, but the favorite was always Elaine. If Elaine and Shelly-Ann are the 2 top sprinters in the world. Like like for me, when it comes to her, she was promising because she's so young and she was running so well, and she did win in the U.S. trials. But if you watch the U.S. trials, it was done so close to the Olympics. A lot of those women and those guys did not do the same time they did in the U.S. than they did in Tokyo. Like they're actually all underperforming in Tokyo. So if that was what's happening, I don't think her not running would have done anything. I think maybe she would have medal bronze, but I don't think she's beating Shelly-Ann and Elaine. Like Elaine, it killed it. Like I don't think she's beating her.
So Fabian, I'll let you get in here, but I just want to throw this in. So Sha'Carri, her time was 10.86 at the trials. And what did you say Shelly-Ann's time was?
So all 3 women who medaled were under that time.
Under that time, okay.
All 3. So again, my thing is that she would have been medaled.
Fair enough. Fabian?
But to be fair, I think she set the NCAA record time.
Yes,
and I think a lot of her hype was really centered around that. Plus, she's just one of these flamboyant athletes that you just can't keep your eyes off. Am I right?
Yeah,
her energy.
She's tatted up. She's gonna say things, and she's like a Dennis Rodman type to me, man. Where they're so excellent at what they do. She's like the female Dennis Rodman in terms of she's just gonna garner that kind of attention. You remember when Rodman was dyeing his hair, and at that time, it seemed crazy, and now he just fit in, I guess, with anybody else, right?
Right.
But keep in mind, I would say Jamaica sprinters started the dying color because Shelly-Ann always has a yellow, a green wig. No, real talk. But what I would say though is that for me, when it comes to Sharika, I felt Sha'Carri. I felt that Sha'Carri was a young star rising, and I think the hype. Remember, her sponsors are Nike. Like. It's a business. You know what I'm saying? It's a business. So her hype is based off of her endorsements and everything else. However, when it comes to the world-class stage, she's in the top 5. She's not top 3 for me as a female sprinter, but whatever. I think she will be a great sprinter when she gets older. But Elaine, right now is Elaine's time. This is Elaine's time. Like, no one's taking that from Elaine right now. She's going to be a GOAT. And next Olympics, I would like when Elaine gets a bit older, if she comes back again, if we see Elaine versus Sha'Carri, then we can talk. So
no, that's fair.
Yeah.
Because Sha'Carri, she really gave people Flojo, those kind of vibes of just being a dominant, flamboyant kind of. So it would have
nails.
been everything. Just her whole vibe was very much just those feely days to I think it was Los Angeles. Was it? was Florence Griffith Joyner? She was what year was that? Was that
84, I believe.
84. So that would have been
the Los Angeles Olympics.
Right.
Where
she was
put on
84, 88.
Right.
Where she had the Olympic record in 88. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like Flojo is a goat in sprinting. Like, so
for
she's
sure.
just, yeah.
All right.
But also to keep it, just to add, just so you guys know, the top 10 fastest times ever at the Olympics, 8 of those times are Jamaican women. 8. So Jamaican women have been dominating sprinting. It's not new to them. You know what I'm saying? For top 10 for the men for 100 meters, the Jamaica had 4 of the fastest times. And where I think 4 was US, and then of course Italy, whatever. But yeah, like, but sprinting for women is Jamaica. Like, Jamaica has been killing that for so long. That's what I'll say. Like, I'm not shocked at their performance.
But here's the thing with sprinting in Jamaica. Like, how do you feel her being a Jamaican is going to help in regards to endorsements? You know, like when we hear about Jamaica sprinting, we hear Usain Bolt, but the women have been doing it. But outside of the Olympics, you're not hearing any endorsements that have to do with Jamaican women. How do you think this?
No, they have a lot in Jamaica, right, Fabian? Like, I know Shelly Ann has quite a few endorsements. Elaine has in Jamaica itself.
I was having this conversation, believe it or not, 2 days ago. And I just believe that even to the level that Usain reached, I do believe that we don't really know. Do we really know Usain? I don't think we do.
No.
And I think a big part of that is I don't know if he's been marketed even enough. Like, as huge as he was, the Pelé of or the MJ of track, I believe that there's another level that I have not seen as far as just given the excellence of Jamaican track and field throughout the Olympics, that I don't know if they're marketed even enough. Now, Sha'Carri, she seems like an easy market, obviously, right?
Well, she's American.
She's American, and her flamboyance and how she dresses and everything. But it'll be interesting to see now that Elaine has pulled off the first back-to-back doubles, and that shows you how hard it was that she could win gold in a 1 and a 2 for back-to-back Olympic. Never been done before when you consider all the great sprinters. So we'll see how much of that will help her get to that next level as far as marketing.
So
so far I've not seen it.
So right now, Usain Bolt, his biggest endorsement is Puma, that pays him $10 million annually. That's a lot of money. Then he also has endorsements from Gatorade, Visa, Virgin Media, Hublot, and Nippon Airways.
Right.
He's also so he has quite a few top brand ambassadors. And again, if you heard about the last Olympics, what Usain was saying was that he mandated that for any endorsements, they had to film it in Jamaica, and they had to hire Jamaican staff behind the scenes because he wanted to bring money to his island. That's Usain Bolt. So he's like a LeBron James to me, because he really was trying to help Jamaica get on the map, right? So he did that kind of stuff beforehand. Hence why, to me, like he's like a gem in Jamaica, because he did bring a lot of money back to the island when he was winning those things. Yeah.
So I just want this is the first time in a long time, because when the world's fastest man is usually crowned at the Olympics. That's like the biggest stage.
Yes.
And it's the race, the premier race is the 100 meter. I never thought I would be saying that the world's fastest man is an Italian.
Well, but you know what, y'all? Listen, he's not really Italian. Okay, that's his flag, but he's American, and he changed his citizenship in 2012. I know. I'm just saying though, like, he's an American dude that wanted to have an Italian flag to run. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, even Under the Grass, he's Canadian. He lived here. He grew up here. And then imagine Under the Grass says, you know what? My mom's Trini, so I'll run for Trinidad for the Olympics.
But watch this. In your example though, if that were to happen,
yeah,
we would be saying the world's fastest man's from Trinidad.
No, I know that. I'm just saying, like, I get that.
Wherever they decide they want to represent, you have to respect that.
I do respect it. I'm just saying, like, he's American. Like, he's American dude that has a flag. He's American. Like, he's born in America. Like, he's from America. He's born there. Am I lying though? He's born there. Listen. He's born in America. DeGrasse was born in Canada. 2 different examples. All I'm saying is that, listen, a lot of European countries do this same thing. They'll say, hey, African girl, you're really fast. we'll give you a free passport, a citizenship. We'll bring your family over to our country, and all you gotta do is run for us for the Olympics. It happens all the time, yo. All
For
the
example,
time.
hold on, Naomi Osaka. She was born in the United States, right?
No, in Japan. She was born in
Oh,
Japan.
she was born in Japan.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. So,
but she
say, though,
spent like the majority of her time. You'd say she's American. She came from Japan very young.
But she's still born in Japan, so I get that. But I'm saying
so you're saying you have to be
African
born.
athletes.
You have to be born there. Wherever you're born is what you're supposed to represent. That's pretty much your.
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm bringing to light the fact that a lot of Black athletes that run under these European countries, a lot of them are kind of asked to run for them, and they get things to represent their country. You know what I'm saying?
Where's Donovan Bailey?
I forgot where he was born.
No, but hold on. So he's not Canadian? What about Ben Johnson? He was born in Jamaica.
Fahim.
Okay, go ahead.
You're overreacting. All I said, you're overreacting. All I said is that a lot of European, it happened in soccer too. A lot of European countries, they see talented Black and brown people around the world, and they go, okay, our country is bad at this. You're good. We will endorse your family. Everyone to come to our country, and we'll give you guys free papers to live here. Just run for a flag. It happens the last 20
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that. So what I'm saying is that yes, he won for Italy, but the guy was born in America. That's all I'm trying to say. He's born
Fabian?
in the States.
Yeah, Fahim, I'm kind of in the middle of both. And by the way, I want to congratulate. After a long exchange, I want to congratulate you on your 50 show, a golden anniversary, so to speak. And this is why you made it this far, okay?
Lamont Marcel Jacobs, born an American, changed his passport to Italy in 2012.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so this is where I come down in the middle. Yes, he was born in America, but it was still weird seeing somebody in an Italian uniform being crowned. It wasn't in my bingo card either. I'm sorry, it threw me off, man.
Agreed. No, agreed. Honestly, but you know what? Like, he ran a great race. If you watched it, he ran his first 60 meters, he would think, but then he celebrated the best time. I do think, though, that DeGrasse had a terrible lane. If DeGrasse was more in the center, I think DeGrasse would have, because DeGrasse was coming up at the very end, but he came up too late. So I think DeGrasse could have at least gotten a silver, even a gold, if he was in the middle. I really think so. Because if you watch the race, DeGrasse started to celebrate a second after Lamont. He timed it off because he was to the far right and they were all on this side, right? So it was like two. Lamont was 2. So Marcel was lane 2, DeGrasse was 9, and the American I think was like 5 or 4. So it was like they're both on the outside. So I kind of wish they were all kind of side by side so we could see a better race. It was kind of staggered, you know what I mean? Anyway,
I agree.
Congrats to him. I'm just saying the guy was born in America, so he's
okay. So I want to ask both of you, seeing that you live in Canada, just tell me about DeGrasse as far as him winning a gold. How does that make you feel as a country?
200 meter. Oh,
nice.
Well deserved. It's destined. I think Bolt. I think the last time for Rio, Bolt won, and he was silver. And I always said, 200 meters is DeGrasse's specialty. So I'm happy he won it. Like, he had the best time going into the finals. So I thought he would win gold. Like, I wasn't surprised. I was just happy that he won it. How about you, Fahim?
Yeah, this is the first time Canadians won the 200 and apparently almost 100 years. It's been almost a century since it's happened.
Yeah, only 100 years.
Sorry?
Well,
in 93. Only 100 years.
Right? Only, right.
Well, it's about 100 years that they last won it.
What I do like is he's always had potential, but he's kind of got the injury bug at the wrong time and not really. So it's great to see that he actually made it through the highest level.
I want to call Fahim out because Fahim, we had a conversation about DeGrasse a couple of years ago. Okay. And you thought he was over, and I said he's not over. Okay. Yeah, you did. So I just want to bring it up. I want to let you know that I thought he would come back and medal, and you were like, "These injuries, guys. I don't know if he's gonna make it." Remember that because he had 2 injuries. Yeah,
come back to injuries. That's right.
Yes. So you were thinking that he wasn't able to come back from it.
Right.
But he persevered. He had a daughter. Actually, my homegirl did his baby shower for him a couple years ago. So very happy for him. I actually met him on my birthday 2 years ago, 2019. Very cool dude, very humble. Yeah, very humble dude. Our boy Anton Henry, who's been on the podcast, is good friends with him. Also on his foundation board as well. So he knows DeGrasse very well. Just very happy for him. Like a good dude that's been humble and worked his butt off. And so seeing where he came from to like not medaling for a couple of years, coming back to gold.
Right.
Incredible story.
Right.
Incredible story.
You know, all these athletes that ran in Usain's shadow, they must have wished that their parents had made whoopee a couple years before or after.
Right.
They knew they had no shot, right? At winning Olympics. Every time they lined up against Usain, it's like, Mom and Dad, could you have timed this a little different, man?
Right.
Come on,
Yeah.
man.
Right.
And also, like, I'm hearing that this kid Noah Lyles, should be the next Usain Bolt. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think like Tom Brady, what they've done is untouched, and I don't think it's gonna happen again. He won 9 gold medals, 3 Olympics in a row, performed in 4 Olympics. I think he's untouchable, but we'll see. We never know.
Well, you said about thinking about being untouchable. LeBron James, who's been the top of the food chain, he actually had a lot to address come this trade deadline.
Yeah. So LeBron. Well, first of all, let's talk about like who they have on their team, because the Lakers, there's a few things during free agency thus far. I don't think they're done yet, but right now they have Melo, who's 37 years old, LeBron, 36, Gasol, who hasn't retired yet, 36, Ariza, 36, Dwight, 35, Ellington, 33, Bazemore, 32, Russ, 32, AD, 28, aka Street Clothes, Nunn, 26, Monk, 23, and THT is 20, who they resigned recently. So that's the team. And as you know, a lot of people were talking about the team is old. Your thoughts on this, Fabian? Do you think they're too old, or what's up?
Well, you know, just given the injuries that we've seen in the league, key injuries late in the year to key contenders, whether in the playoffs or toward the end of the season, it is maybe a little bit. It's something to definitely look at, just given, as I said, the last 3 years maybe. Obviously, the trainer and the medical staff, they will play a big role, but it is a concern, I think. Just that, as I said, some of these older players have kind of broken down toward the end of the season. I do think, however, that if they kind of load management, maybe more than they have, I'm talking about the Lakers as a whole, they might be able to kind of alleviate that.
What's so funny is that the Raptors had low management. Everyone hated it. And now all of a sudden, low management is not. Right? Yeah, like these people, man. I swear to you. Anyway. So I guess LeBron heard everyone commenting because Bleacher Report's messy. So they posted the ages of Lakers, and you know, people retweeting, commenting on the team. I heard their what do you call it? Geriatrics team, or what do you call it? Old people team. They're calling the different names.
Right.
So, geriatrics team and all this stuff. And I guess LeBron heard that. So Fahim, what did LeBron say?
So he's this is a quote, keep talking about my squad, our personnel ages, the way we play, our past in the league, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Do me this favor, please. I mean, please. Keep that same negative energy when the season begins. That's all I ask. Hashtag thank you. Unquote.
LeBron, I will.
You know, for human, Nelly, I can't picture Kobe or even MJ. It's like, dude, you're a top 5, maybe top 7 guy all time. Right. And to say these, I don't know, man. I don't know.
No, I hear you. So let me say this. So I'm seeing the ages, right? One thing is, it's always good to have a good mix and the right mix of having veterans, up and coming players who can use the experience. When I look at this Laker roster, you know, LeBron, okay, he's but he's out of his prime. So we'll go with people who are in their prime and out of their prime. LeBron, as great as he is, he's kind of out of his prime. LaMelo, out of his prime. Ariza, out of his prime. Dwight Howard, out of his prime. Okay, but these are still people who are out of their prime, but they can still play. They still have something left in the gas in the tank, I feel. Right. But then you have you know, young guys who can actually contribute, like AD. He's 28, in his prime. Russell Westbrook, 32, I still think in his prime, even though he's maybe not doing things he did about 10 years ago, he's still got the good years, right? So you still have that balance. And then you have the younger guys, the guys who are coming up like Malik Monk, give him the opportunity. He's a solid player. Kenrick Nunn, if you need a point guard, I mean, he maybe is Schroeder, maybe not, but he's still up. I just think this Lakers squad has a good mix, where I wouldn't count them out. And like LeBron, I hear you. Like, people should keep that same energy, because if you think about this, when LeBron first came to Lakers, injuries came, and then they didn't make the playoffs. And remember that offseason when they didn't make the playoffs, when LeBron first came to Lakers, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, LeBron's over. He's used to being playoff." Like, a lot of people were negative on LeBron. And what happened next year?
I don't think they're negative on LeBron. I think they're negative on the Lakers. I think people knew that the Lakers were terrible. But
fair
also,
enough. And LeBron played.
I also think LeBron is overreacting. No one is saying your team is bad. They're saying your team is old.
Okay,
it's a fact. Your team is old. So
it's not a compliment, though.
No, but it doesn't matter. You picked that team, right? So don't be mad at us for observing the age. Like, again, we're not saying your team ain't gonna do nothing. I think Lakers could still make it in the playoffs, but no one's saying that. No one is saying this team will make it in the playoffs. Everyone's saying this team is old and they're not good enough to beat Brooklyn. That's healthy. Probably Brooklyn, for most people, think they're the best team in the NBA. No one's saying, LeBron, that like you're a bad player. Just saying your teammates are old. That's all people are saying. So the energy will be the same. And if they win, great. You won with the old man team. That's the same energy. Like, we're not saying your team is trash. We're saying your team is old. His grandpa's on that team, bro.
Yeah, and you know, MJ and Kobe, you know, just the most obvious comparison. They would always find ways to kind of pick a fight or look at a perceived slight as motivation.
Yes.
This is LeBron's way, classic diva way, if you will. It's just not what I expect. You know, it's like do it another way, man.
Right.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, it's funny because we are in a social media era. So, you know, like Kevin Durant and LeBron, they find their motivation with trolls, right? They love trolls. I think they enjoy the trolls, so that's why he does these things. Like when he won with the Lakers, he was like, I hope people don't doubt my greatness anymore. Like, he's so emotional. Like, LeBron wants everyone to call him the GOAT, and not everyone's going to do that ever, because people always debate that, but you have fans that love you, so focus on those fans and keep that energy towards them. But the people that don't like you, LeBron, aren't going to change their mind. Like, why try to convince people who are haters? You know what I mean? Like, just focus on people who love you and move forward. That's it. Like, I think LeBron gets, like KD, they get kind of off track. But for me, it's entertaining. I laugh. It'll become a meme, and that's cool with me.
And you know what? As far as LeBron, that ship has sailed. He to me is not in that conversation. Just considering where he is now, even if he gets another chip, he's still not up there at MJ. So
I mean, listen, us MJ fans, like we know what's up. We gotta say much. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we good. But I would love to see LeBron come back healthy. I think his ankle injury was way worse than he let on. You can tell. And I'm hoping AD does eat healthier. Carmelo, honestly, I'm curious to know what Frank Vogel does with his team. The lineups, how they perform. I'm just curious to know, but we'll see.
So we mentioned about, or you're saying about MJ, and like, I think we're all on the same page. MJ's the GOAT. Only thing is, I think with me, LeBron's book, it's not finished. So
it's almost done. Almost.
No, I get it, but what I'm saying is I'm open. Like, it's not an open and shut case for me. If LeBron can continue to build to that resume, I'm open for the conversation. On the way out of this, Fabian, I'm going to ask you, what do you think of the Lakers? What's your prediction? A quick prediction on the Lakers from what you see.
Yes, I'd say based on what's on paper right now, they have three of the top, I believe, 9 players in the league at the minimum in West, AD, and obviously LeBron. So that alone, typically the best team wins. I mean, if you just look at the history, the best team usually walks away with the chip. So based on that and so many other questions, I know Phoenix will be competitive once again with Chris Paul resigning, and I'm sure they're going to bring back their core. But right now, if I had to pick an early Western Conference winner, that would be the Lakers. And I was going to ask both of you, Fahim and Nelly J, who do you like? Would it still be Brooklyn or the reigning NBA champion Bucks coming out the East right now, if you'd have to pick?
So,
Nelly
but
J?
for me personally, I think the Eastern Conference is stronger than the West at this time. Like, unless Luka gets a really good player to play with him, I would prefer like or Denver, right? Denver's still a hot team when Jamal comes back, and maybe like that team is still a good team to me. Like I think they had injuries last year as well, but I just think the East do have the best. Like the Rosen's in Chicago, Kyle Lowry staying East. Philly kept like. The East has to me have the strongest teams. So I think the best team will be in the East. I think the Lakers, if healthy, with these players, they're going to have to manage because these guys can't play 48 minutes. They'll have to. So I think the Lakers will probably be like top 4, top 5. I can't see them winning the Western Conference regular season because they'll have to manage AD and LeBron next year. So and the West is more competitive, so they'll be top 4, top 5.
Okay. So who would be your top team then, if not the Lakers?
So I would say, I'll say regular season. Remember regular season. So I'll say Phoenix would be up there. Denver will be up there. I'll put Dallas up there. I'd even put Clippers. I think Clippers will be the top team above the Lakers. Is that 4 teams? Yeah, okay. Denver. Yeah, I said Denver. Yeah. Again, only because I know Lakers will be low managing next year. So, like for example, back-to-back games, LeBron will not be playing those games, right? Back-to-back. So with the resting in between, they are going to lose some games, and the West is stronger. That's why I do have them in my top 5 team for the West. Yeah.
So the first part of I guess Fabian, your question was who in the East, and you gave Milwaukee and Brooklyn. which are obviously the two front-running picks, right? So I get it. I would like to include Miami in that mix. Wow, I think what they've really done with getting Kyle Lowry, like some leadership, getting PJ Tucker,
Oladipo,
Oladipo re-signing. Like, I mean, that's a team where it seems like you have the right mix of things happening there. Of those 3, if I had to, I don't know. I'm leaning Brooklyn. This is way early. If you talk to me 6 months out, halfway through the season, I might have a different answer. But right now, I'm going with Brooklyn just because I think Brooklyn didn't get ahead because of injuries. Like if they were healthy, I think that Brooklyn squad might have got out the Eastern Conference. Then we're having a different conversation. So I'll go with Brooklyn first. And on the West, since we're talking Lakers, Lakers are the favorites. I think, you throw LeBron and AD with decent. I think the Lakers upgraded this year from last year.
For sure. It's funny because I think the Lakers downgraded from what they won.
Really? Fabian, what do you think?
No.
Upgrade or downgrade from last year?
They traded away Dwight. They got Dennis. Like, Rajon Rondo was your guy, and then you trade him away or he left. Like, to me, I think last year's team wasn't as good as the team that won the bubble, personally.
Right. No, I can agree with that. I think Dwight was a big loss. But I think we're all waiting on Russ versus KD in the final. That is a dream matchup that we really want, right? Because we know we're going to get some good quotes out of that final, and it is on paper it is the 2 best teams. So
right.
It's so funny how the writer is already writing his story for next year.
Right, pretty much.
Actually, so on the way to this, I want to ask you real quick. So you're in Miami.
Yes.
Give us just real quick on Miami.
He's in Miami, but he's a Boston fan. Don't get it twisted.
Oh, okay.
But I follow the Heat. Go.
But you follow the Heat. No, I was going to ask. Just you being there.
I'm forced to follow the Heat. Yeah.
I just want to know what's the pulse, real quick. What's the pulse of what's happening with the upgrades that you happen? Are people excited in there? Are they? Give me a taste. What's up?
Yeah. Definitely. The team is excited. Fans seem to be very excited. Last year's finish was obviously a big disappointment. They retooled, and just given what they've picked up, they're going to be, if not the best defensive team in the league, they're going to be top 3 and 4. When you talk about PJ Tucker, and then you talk about just that whole group of defensive-minded players, PJ Tucker and Jimmy Butler. I mean, these are guys that think defense first.
Right.
Bam as well. So and Oladipo, when he's healthy, and that's obviously a big question coming off yet another surgery. But when he's healthy, he's been one of the better defensive guards in the league as well. Plus, their whole philosophy from Spo is definitely defense first. So I think they're very excited. I don't think we should leave out Philly, depending what they do with Ben.
Right.
I still think they're going to trade him to maybe Golden State, but what they
Oh.
get back could play a big role in where they finish in the East. If they get a point guard in return, which I think they really need, that's all they really need.
Like a real point guard.
A real point guard.
Well,
They
could have tried.
Right.
Well, they missed like a few point guards already are off the market. So I don't know who they're going to go after. But I have a quote for y'all. So apparently Ben Simmons was made a comment today. And pretty much what he said, because I want to get it, shout out to Danny Guerra, who sent me this quote. Apparently, Ben Simmons sees Toronto and Portland, among other teams, as bad situations that he doesn't want to go into, which is funny. That's I'm like, Ben, Toronto wants you rather, brother. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
So
they want you.
Fun fact about Kyle Lowry. I'm pretty sure we can universally agree that Kyle Lowry is known for being a defensive player. Like, he gets charges, he's gritty. We've seen the All-Star game. Like, he has a defensive reputation. It's kind of mind-blowing to think that someone who has a reputation for being a strong point guard on defense has never been a defensive All-NBA team ever.
Right.
Because he's in Canada. Because he was in Canada.
Like, he's never been recognized as on a defensive team in his career. So anyway.
That is at least third team. I mean,
right, exactly.
Like, at least the second or third.
Yeah, but I don't think any guard has maybe taken more charges during their whole career than him. And we're talking about against big players. Like, centers would be there barreling down the lane, and he'll step in, man. And you always hold your breath like, Jesus Christ, what are you doing?
Yo, listen, when Kyle Lowry took a charge at the All-Star game, I was like, this guy, I can't. Kyle, this is an All-Star game. Like, why are we doing this? Like, oh, my gosh.
All right, so Nelly J, let's go to For the Culture.
For the culture, we like to highlight individuals that are for the culture. And today, we get to highlight Mr. Fabian Lyon. So Fabian, he is Brooklyn born, Jamaica raised, okay?
Yard
man from Yard. He's a 20-year writer for the Miami Herald. That's huge, first of all. A community activist, founder of the Game Changers with Fabian Lyon Youth Leadership Summit, and host of the Game Changers with Fabian Lyon show on IG and YouTube. Let's give it up for Mr. Fabian Lyon.
That's right.
So Fabian, like, you're someone that, of course, I met you in Clubhouse. You're always dope. Great conversation. But you hosted a room about Sha'Carri Richardson, all that stuff that we hosted together. Right. And I feel like you're someone that does so much, but don't really talk about it. Like, you barely even, like, boast about it. So we're going to make sure that today we're going to boost you up, like booster seat up today. So let's talk about the first thing. So you are a writer. Right. How did that happen? And why did you want to pursue a career in writing?
Yeah, well, I've always liked to write from middle school and all through high school. I was on the journalism staff and through college. And I got my foot in the door, so to speak, at the Herald. A friend of mine, she just called me and literally told me that they're looking for a sports writer. And the rest is pretty much history. And from there, I've been with the Herald. And what I really love is finding out people's stories. I mean, there's something about, just what motivates you, what's your purpose. Those things have always intrigued me, because so many times we look at people and we're dead ass wrong, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? And we don't know what people are doing in their community, what they're doing in their schools, for example. But once you sit down with people, to me, it's always fascinating to find out what's behind their face, their mask, so to speak. And let me tell you, half the time has been most interesting. I do want to plug, I'll shamelessly plug, on Saturday, I'll be interviewing Marcus Garvey's son, Dr. Julius Garvey. So I'm so excited about that.
That's dope.
And let me tell you, this is it's going to be a second time on the show. And let me tell you, the first time, it was like literally talking to history. Just hearing, it was almost as if his dad himself was speaking to me. Is talking about Pan Africanism, civil rights, social justice rights, and I was literally just with my mouth open for a whole hour just just taking this all in, just considering what an icon that his dad was. So Dr. Garvey is going to be on Game Changers with Fabian Lyon. That's my show at 3 p.m. Eastern this Saturday. And I'm asking you to please follow and tune in. He's going to be taking on a rather controversial topic, and that is the non-pardon by President Obama of his dad. And as we know, that is something that was kind of expected by President Obama. He did not, in 2 terms, grant that posthumous pardon to his dad. And right now he's redirecting his efforts to President Biden. So we're going to touch on that. They're going to have a ceremony in Ethiopia unveiling a bust of Marcus Garvey, which he'll speak about, and just the overall legacy of his dad as it stands in today's world. So I'm excited.
That's amazing. So you got to touch on your show, Game Changers by Fabian Lyon. We also have a youth summit. So I'm curious to know, like, what compelled you from writing for the Herald to want to now have your own show and, of course, have a summit for the youth?
Right. Okay. What has compelled me is that I know that anything that I've accomplished in my life wasn't by myself. Like, it was either a teacher, my parents, a mentor, an uncle. And I just know that it's my duty and obligation to try and do that for somebody else. And that is my sole purpose. And when we had this summit, we had Mrs. Muhammad Ali there. We had somebody from the Heat. We had some Hall of Fame coaches. And just to hear them speak for 15 minutes to a half an hour to these student athletes in the stands was just riveting to me. Just to hear them just have that innate ability to lead and to inspire, and just to bring them all together in one gym. And we didn't have it because of COVID last year, but we're going to have another one this year. It was one of the highlights of my life.
Oh, that's amazing. It's always great when you meet people like yourself who do make it, right, successfully, and like you want to kind of give back and give the youth the same opportunity that you didn't have, right? So that's really amazing that you are kind of paying it forward. And then when it comes to your show, again, who was your favorite guest that you had on the show thus far? I just pick 2 guests that really impacted you, because I know you could pick, favorite. Could be hard for you.
Yeah, and boy, it's hard to pick, but I would say that Maxi Priest is up there.
Okay.
Maxi Priest.
Maxi Priest, man.
Sorry.
Right? And also Nyambi McIntosh, who is the daughter of Peter Tosh.
What?
And she came on and she has really carried on his legacy. And just to hear her speak, and once again, as if Peter Tosh was on the show speaking, and obviously Dr. Garvey has to be up there as well. So, so those 3, that's a pretty good starting 3 if you're going to start.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, that's incredible. And I also saw that you also interviewed, because you posted her. You also interviewed a Jamaican athlete, right, that won a medal in the Olympics this year. No.
Yes.
I saw. Yes. Okay. So you interviewed her.
She finished 3rd in the hurdles.
Yes.
And what was really special about her story is that she's 5'1", okay? And to run the hurdles at 5'1" is just amazing. Meg Tapper, okay?
That's crazy.
Right? 5'1". And if you look at the final, okay, just to see all the other athletes, they're long-legged and just striding over these hurdles, and she is 5'1", giving it her all. And to be the 3rd in the world is just amazing. It speaks to her heart. It really does.
Honestly, that's amazing. And that's why I'm saying, like, y'all, if you don't know about Fabian Lyon, okay, now, make sure you tap in on his Instagram, his YouTube channel. Like, he's having the right conversation with the right people, but he's also a very obviously articulate, like, genius. So follow, and make sure you follow the show. It's important. Now, just one thing about Fabian is that, Fabian, if you can go back in time, right? And what's one habit that you had to break in order to be able to make it to where you are today? What was one thing that like was a bad thing you were doing, or a bad habit that you were doing, that if that was continuing on, you wouldn't be who you are? Just one bad habit.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say this. I think that reading the room has been something that I have had to learn, so to speak. In other words, every interview is different, and that's why it's really important to kind of gauge who you're interviewing and not just jump in with your kind of questions that you might think you have. So listening, I think, is something that comes to mind. I wouldn't listen as much, a bit stubborn. So I've learned to be more patient and also to let the conversation, let the interview flow instead of just kind of being maybe set in my ways.
Oh, I love that. Look at the gems. So Fabian knows all the things. Make sure you follow him. And the sprinter was Megan Tapper. She's the Jamaican woman, the Jamaican that won. And she's 5'1". I had no idea, bro.
5'1".
That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Fabian, I have one question for you on the way out of For the Culture here.
Right.
So you've been a writer for approximately 20 years in Miami. Were you writing when the LeBron, Bosh, Wade Big Three was happening in Miami? Were you writing in Miami at that time?
Yes, I wasn't covering the NBA at that time, but I was with the Herald at that time.
Oh,
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, is there any stories or anything that you can give us in regards to
he wants some tea. He wants all the tea.
Or just so you weren't writing for them, or you're writing for them, but just not in their sports. Yeah,
thing, just not in their sports. But what's cool now is that in the Olympics, I've covered so many Olympians now, and I was covering mostly track and field and high school basketball at the time. But I've covered Sonia Richards, Michael Frater, and just a number of, and obviously Damian Thomas. Who came from Northeast High right here in South Florida. So it's cool for me to cover them at the prep level and even at the college level, and just to see them now on the big stage is like, holy crap, I was covering you at the AAU Olympics when you were like 10, 11 years old.
Right.
And now you're the big boys and the big girls, so to speak. So to me, that's my biggest thing, is just seeing these young people grow up to be Olympians and world-class athletes. It's amazing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Nice.
Well, y'all now you know why Fabian was For the Culture.
That's
period.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, Fabian, for dropping by.
Yes.
We got one more segment to go. Fahim.
Okay. Let's go to That's Absurd.
That's absurd. Fahim, bro. What was absurd this week? What was absurd?
Kyrie Irving.
Yo, he's always absurd, I swear.
No, actually, we're gonna give him a chance this time, because I know normally it's under negative circumstances why people want to talk about Kyrie. But Kyrie had a leaked version of his Kyrie 8s, and we can understand why he was not happy about this. So I'm going to give him a quote, okay? This is a leaked version. He's, quote, "I have nothing to do with the design or marketing of my upcoming Kyrie 8s. In my opinion, these are trash. I have absolutely nothing to do with them. Nike plans to release it without my okay, regardless of what I have to say. So I apologize in advance to any of my sneakerheads and all the supporters of the KA11 brand."
KAI11 brand.
Oh, sorry, KAI11 brand. So
KAI11 brand.
That's absurd.
And keep in mind, y'all, he said exclamation point after trash, because it was trash. They were trash.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Absurd that Nike is not going to, first of all, Nike, like, I love y'all, but why would you release a sneaker if the athlete behind it doesn't like it? Like, why is your design team trumping the face of the sneaker? I don't understand that. And also, why wasn't he involved in the design? Like, I'm assuming, probably have like 5 designs. He picked the one he liked. Like, why aren't they involved? I don't know. I find it very absurd that Nike was going to release a sneaker without his consent. Your thoughts on this, Fabian?
Well, this is classic Kyrie. Love him or hate him. And by the way, I love him. I love KD. Right. And I love them because they're not cookie cutter players. Most of the NBA and other league, they're going to go by what their agents send out a press release. I love Kyrie. He has talked of mental illness And that to me is keeping it real. Like he's
Yeah.
not just some superhero. He's like, look, I need some time off, whether we like it or not. We've all been at work and we said, I need a day off. I need a day
Yeah.
off. You know, so there's something about Kyrie that's genuine. I know he does a lot of good work in the community, even other countries. I think he built a water processing plant, I believe.
In Pakistan, that's
in
right.
Pakistan, yeah.
So big ups to Kyrie. Kyrie is a different dude.
Right.
Kyrie is a different dude. Okay.
Yeah.
And one thing we can't say about him, he's not authentic, if nothing else.
Right.
Am I right?
You
He speaks his
100%.
mind. There's no double
Facts.
talk. And whether he wants to believe the earth is flat or not, I believe that he believes that.
Right. And he's
Actually-
entitled to. He's
actually,
entitled to his opinion.
I think Kyrie said it's not flat anymore. He changed his mind.
Okay, that's
yeah,
fine.
He did.
But I mean,
Okay.
regardless,
Yeah.
even if people disagreed, he is entitled
Right.
to his opinion. And I'm with you. I like Kyrie. I do find that as time has gone on, we've been, I guess, getting a lot more information in regards to him being a lot more open. I felt maybe so. Remember Kyrie when LeBron left and he left the keys to Kyrie, and he was
LeBron. I thought Kyrie left first.
Oh, my bad. You're right.
Yeah,
So
I'm like, LeBron didn't leave. Kyrie left,
Sorry, my
yeah.
bad. My bad. When Kyrie left LeBron
Yes.
to go to Boston, you're right. There wasn't any there wasn't beef, but there I guess there was underlying beef. It was just kind of like left in the air for people to speculate. You know what I'm saying? Boston underperformed, goes to Brooklyn. That's when I don't feel we got to really understand kind of where Kyrie's head was at until he got to Brooklyn. And then then things are coming out in regards to mental health and everything. And that's where we have to be sympathetic to what he's going through. So, shout out to Kyrie.
Also, it's the thing, right? A lot of these brands try to bully these athletes, which I don't like. That's why I think it's very absurd what Nike did. But afterwards, Kyrie did issue a statement yesterday, and he said, when you're building something great, there sometimes comes a point when you need to recalibrate and refocus to ensure everyone involved is aligned. This is where the KAI 11 brand and Nike are. It was unfair to put the blame on Nike or any one person. I mean, I blame them, but whatever. With that being said, we are working, restructuring, and reimagining things together to make sure we get it right. So pretty much, Kyrie called out Nike because they're about to release something that was garbage and go over his head. He said, "You know what, bun y'all. I'm gonna go on Twitter, do my thing, and look what happened. Nike got it together. So listen, you athletes, don't let these brands bully you. Gather themselves. If they don't want it to you, go on Twitter and unleash all the anger. So I'm happy he did that, because if not, that shoe would have been released and Kyrie would have been like embarrassed. So I'm happy he did that. It's pretty good.
On the way out, Fabian, I'm going to give you the last word, but I just want to say, so as you mentioned, Fabian, Kyrie, he built a solar water plant in Pakistan for people who need water, right? Right. Need clean water, and also other essentials through that also. The NBA, how they decide to market players, it's interesting to see if they do any piece or any mention of this type of work. It's always the negative stuff that they want to dig up and have, but you have to dig to really find this. So I just want to see, going forward, we'll see the platforms that the NBA has. If anyone is going to, during the All-Star game, for instance, it was historically black colleges, because of the HBCU, and at that time the NBA seemed down with the program because they wanted to obviously appease people, because we're giving you the All-Star game. Hey, we're giving you All-Star game, and also we're helping out black colleges. So there seemed like there's some kind of agenda or some kind of motive behind them doing it. So that's where I just want to see with the NBA right now, if anybody hears about the great work that Kyrie's doing in regards to that. Fabian, last word's yours.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think too often, as a whole, we focus on the kind of eccentricities of these athletes, and it kind of overshadows the good that they do, right? Because as I said before, Kyrie is that kind of different dude. You know what I mean? Where you're like, man, what are you really saying? What do you mean? But I really, to your point, Faheem, I do think that there's so much good. Like, he can go and donate and be out there in the community doing so much good. And all we've heard was that he said the earth is flat
Right.
a couple years ago, right? It's like
It's
that was like
true.
the headline. Everything is so, you Google Kyrie and that's the first thing that would come up. So
Right.
I agree. But you know what, to that point, I think more than ever, there's a need to have more journalists, more writers telling our stories,
Yeah.
people that have grown up in our communities who can best relate to us.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that we can control. We can't control just mainstream media, but what we can do is push our young people into journalism and have them kind of tell the stories the way they need to be told.
Amen.
Well
to
said.
that.
Well said.
Mic drop. Love it.
Mic
Love
drop.
it. Love it. Well, Kyrie, you weren't absurd this week. Wonderful. But Nike was. Awesome. Awesome. Well, that's a wrap for him.
All right, let's put this episode in the books.
Episode 51.
That's right, 51.
So, Fabian, we love to give our guests a chance to do a shout out. So the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, I'd like to give a shout out to my family members, to my mom, my sister, my brothers, and my son, Nicholas Lyon. So shout out to everybody. I love y'all. And also my extended family, my friends. Thanks for your support, doing some tough weeks behind me, but thank you so much. And thank you, Nelly J. Thank you, Fahim, for having me on the show. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, Fabian.
Thank you for coming.
You're such a strong individual. I'll definitely keep you and your family in my prayers. And my shout out is you. Thank you for being here. I also want to shout out, of course, Damien. Damien, what's the last name? The decathlon today. Damien.
Oh.
So, is it Warren?
Yes.
Damien Warren.
Let's get his name right, but I'm pretty sure Damien Warren. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Warner. Sorry, Damien.
Right.
Damien Warner, who actually had for the decathlon over 9,000 points.
Record.
It's a record for the Olympics, and only 4 men have ever done that ever in the decathlon on the world stage. He's Canadian. He's won other medals. It's his first gold, like Andre. Love to see it. And big up to you and your family for that win. Fahim.
Nice. I'll make mine quick. I want to shout out Fabian. It's been a pleasure. Hope we can do this again.
Yes.
You know, so in regards to the Olympics, we're at the tail end of the Olympics. I want to shout out Tokyo. Reason why Tokyo Olympics 2020, because when we started before this, there's a lot of talk of, do you think the Olympics going to make it to the end because of COVID? And, you know, me personally, I was negative toward it. I did not think that we would be getting to this point right now. I thought they'd have some kind of outbreak. I was really against it. They proved me wrong. So I want to shout out to Tokyo Olympics. I want to shout them out for actually, putting on a great display. And last thing on the way out, I think because of my negativity toward it, I really didn't watch for the first time in my life. This is the first time that I actually have not watched or really followed the Olympics.
Right.
Today was the first time that I said, okay, well, let me see what's happening. I watched the women's 10-meter platform. There's a 14-year-old girl named Kwan Hang Chen. And she only qualified for the Olympics because I guess you have to be 13. You have to be a minimum of 13, 14, whatever it was.
Yeah, 13.
Because of the delay in the Olympics, she got to perform. And she was, if you've ever watched the diving, you know when they hit the water and you get to always tell a good one because there's no splash.
No splash.
It was the reason why TV was on mute. I watched her and I was like, I just knew I was seeing something great. Had no idea who she was. I had to turn up the volume. And I was like, what did I just see? They showed the replay. I'm talking, there was no splash at all. She went in the water and disappeared. I was like, what? So that's where I got this background story. She's 14. And anyway, perfect 10s across the board, won the Olympics. And I just want to shout her out. I was really impressed. Kwan Hang Chen, 14 years old, winning Olympic medal. Congrats.
That's crazy.
For what country for him? What country does she represent?
Sorry, my bad. China. My bad.
China. I figured China, because China normally wins diving.
Yeah.
China has good divers, and they're always like 13, 14. So
Okay.
Big up.
All right. That's episode 51 in the books.
Oh my goodness, y'all. 51, we're in the 50s. Y'all know the deal. If you had a good time, if you enjoyed yourself, click on that like, subscribe, get alerts. You know, we're everywhere. Fahim.
That's right. You know where to get us if you want to find us. All platforms, we're there for you. That's Good Rookies Podcast, episode 51. And we out.
Thanks,
Peace.
Fabian.